Hello everyone, welcome back to another Roblox Skibidi Sage video. This is pretty new. I am talking in a voice this time, but don't worry about it. It's just G-Man here, so everything will be fine and dandy. So first, we're going to start off by getting the sandbox mode. A few disclaimers before I go over the weapons of this video. The damage shown here will not be the same as some other modes in this game, such as hard mode or nightmare mode. I think the sandbox mode's health is only really relative to the normal mode in this game, so take it as it is. And also, another weapon glitch I want to get quickly out of the way. I think I mentioned in my last video, I think at some point, after you collect enough weapons and you're just swapping out between the morphs here, it doesn't quite work after a while, and I don't know why, but I don't know, they probably fixed it by now, but I'm just saying that out there just in case it doesn't get fixed. So, happened to be once in nightmare mode. Now we just open up the sandbox panel, give ourselves a lot of stuff, and first we're going to start off with the shotgun over here. For 7 cash, I think the shotgun's a pretty good weapon to start off with when you're starting the first 2 waves. Just pretty decent burst damage, can hit multiple enemies, and it's decent for pretty much most skibidi toilets, although probably not for bigger ones, but most smaller or medium ones, so we'll try it against a bunch of titanium skibidis. Alright, so basically 3 shots some, so pretty good, pretty decent. On to the second weapon I recommend buying next to the shotgun is a sniper rifle. The sniper rifle costs 10 cash. Let's try the sniper rifle from shooting up long range somewhere. So you can see, of course it's long ranged. Pretty easy to lower toilets just shooting long range. You get to slowly shoot them from down below, which is a pretty easy way to kill them. So yeah, pretty good gun, pretty decent, plus paired with the shotgun. Got close range. Alright, moving on to the next weapon I recommend buying later on is the AK-47. The AK-47 costs 16 cash, which does pretty high damage and is automatic, of course. It can only get a little inaccurate sometimes, but it still does pretty good. Let's try it against more titanium skibidis. Down, down, down. You see, easy all day. Alright, next weapon, which is a little step down below the AK-47, but a 6-shooter, and the 6-shooter costs 14 cash. So let's try the 6-shooter against titanium skibidis. Okay, it does do less damage than the AK-47, but it does shoot faster and is more accurate. Next weapon I recommend buying is the rocket launcher, which is just great overall because, as I mentioned in my last video, you can rocket jump and does high damage in groups. So let's try that. Oh yeah, by the way, quick tip here. It only works with small skibidis, but you can just trap most skibidis right here and they won't be able to get you. Now unless you move some, of course, then they'll be able to get you, but other than that, it's a kind of funny secret. Just shoot them all without taking damage. But yeah, also the rocket launcher also does launch some skibidis, so it's also kind of useful for getting things away from you. Now the next weapon is the sword over here. Costs 7 cash, but it's better to just get the shotgun with that type of money. Now personally, I think the sword isn't really the best weapon, simply because I don't like using melee in this game. And yeah, that's mainly it. It's just a slightly better dagger. We'll try this against, how about 2 of those. So we get on top of them. At least you won't be doing too bad. Now the next guns I wanted to go for is the sport guns. 30 odd cash, the Anti-Parasite gun. I got way over here. Get the revival cannon. Basically the rock cannon. It's very useful in multiplayer. Anyone who's dead, you just point and shoot at them and they'll instantly get revived. And my problem is, I wish this could also heal, but it unfortunately doesn't. Can't heal other NPCs or online teammates. But it does revive pretty good and pretty instantly, so there you go. And regarding the Anti-Parasite cannon, it's pretty good for just uninfecting infected cameraman. Although I don't recommend using this on. Although I don't recommend using the Anti-Parasite cannon on yourself, because I mentioned this in my last video, it causes a really bad glitch to happen and you can't move. So don't do that, just remove it on your head. Let's try this on a couple infected cameraman. See over here? Bang. All of them are back to normal. Anyway, on to the next weapon, which is the NailGun. And the NailGun's pretty much the second best to the RayGun, because it does a lot of damage and it shoots pretty fast. Of course, it can get inaccurate if you shoot it a little bit too far, but other than that, it's gonna be pretty good. You're gonna only be really using far-range shots on large skibidi toilets most of the time. And those are also pretty big, so it doesn't really matter. So let's try it against a bunch of titanium skibidis again. Sometimes it hits multiple of them too because of the bullet spread, so that's also good. So once again, it's also pretty great in groups. Let's try this on one giant skibidi. Taking it down pretty fast. There we go. Easy work. Easy work. Alright. Now moving on to the only Game Pass weapon, which is the flamethrower. And it costs 10 Robux, but it's pretty good for what it does. It has pretty decent range, as you can see here. And try it against some titanium skibidis. Another quick fact you might not know is the flamethrower also heals you, so it's actually pretty viable. You can also attack and heal at the same time, so once again, it's pretty decent. Now on to the most powerful weapon, which is the RayGun. Now the RayGun, of course, you gotta beat hard mode first to even buy it, and it costs some cash, which is really expensive. But for what it does area damage and height damage. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Let's try against a couple titaniums. See how it does. Well, it only took 2 shots to defeat them. Okay, let's try it against... Heck, even a Supreme Toilet. Let's try it against that. Look at it, let's go down. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Now another secret weapon, which you can only obtain from Lootcrates, I think I also mentioned this in my last video, is a toilet transmitter. And this can summon basically a toilet for you. It'll attack other smaller toilets, and it'll self-destruct at the end once it dies. Let's see it in action. Let's try it against more titanium scooties. Oh, most of them are just dead from that. So that's pretty good. We tried on one giant skippy toilet. Two of them actually. Look how much damage it did when it exploded. Let's try to get another one out. Yeah, as you can see there, the only problem with the toilet transmitter is it's temporary. It looks like you can only use it about 3 times. So that's the only problem with it, but other than that, it's pretty good. It's pretty good in terms of distraction and also just some damage in general. First, we'll try summoning some old cameramen for cash. Now the cameraman's pretty decent and mainly just taking smaller skibidi toilets and some large skibidi toilets. Try one of those. Okay, wow, they even took it out before I can even look. Let's try a couple metal skibidis. So, as long as they don't get attacked, they can do pretty good far-range damage. So, once they start getting actually attacked, they'll die pretty quickly. I think they're pretty okay, although most ways will just give you these cameramen, so I don't think it's really worth buying. Now on to the next troop, which is the Speakermen, which costs 5 cash. Just 1 more cash or cameraman. Now I think the Speakerman is just really, in my opinion, unfortunately a slightly weaker version of the Cameraman, so I don't really recommend buying them. You try them in action. See, their guns shoot a little bit slower. That's the problem. But they'll try and do slightly better melee damage at the very least. The problem is they'll die pretty fast. But they'll melee take down your most basic toilets. Okay, next summon is a large cameraman, which costs 10 cash. So summon 3 of those. And how about we try a couple of large metal skibidis. Now as you can see, they only do punching damage, but they do get on top of the toilets so they don't get damaged. So that's pretty good. Okay, this one's kind of stuck. Come on, you'll help the other ones out. Come on. There we go. Alright. Oh, one down. Of course, they have way more health than the Speakermen or the normal cameraman, so they can definitely tank more damage. But it looks like they're almost about done eliminating the toilets. Come on. Oh, okay, that was another one down. And okay. That is a shame. They almost got them all. Let's try the next troop in line, which is large Speakerman, which costs $15. Some 3 of those. Let's try them against skibidi mans because they're about the same size, so yeah. Okay, if we can get all of them over there, that's okay. Yeah, that guy's dead. Okay. Oh, that doesn't look too good. Yeah, it doesn't look like large Speakermen can take care of skibidi mans, so how about we try the same thing? We'll try. How about they all go for... Let's go for a couple of large metal skibidi toys again. We'll summon more this time. that they're all clumped. Yeah, the only problem with large units is they don't do much damage. So they aren't the best. Only really good for distractions and tanking attacks. But there's better ways to do that. Other than that, they're pretty alright. I think the Speakermen are just a more tankier version of the big Cameraman, of course, so. Almost there. Almost there. There we go. No fatalities this time. All the Speakermen won. Alright, now the next summon troop. For 25 cash is a spider camera. We'll summon one of those. Probably try a bunch of titanium skibidi toilets. So it looks like the spider camera can also stop as well. Which is pretty great, and they can shoot pretty accurate bullets, it looks like. It can move around pretty well. Yeah, pretty decent troop. Pretty good troop, actually. Let's try it against one giant skibidi toilet. That damage is going down pretty fast. Eventually. So yeah, looks like the spider camera can definitely take down a giant skibidi toilet, probably most smaller skibidi toilets. And they can also stop as well. Now the next summon is gonna be the speaker spider, and the speaker spider costs $30. Let's see how it does against a bunch of titanium skibidis. Okay, we're gonna need more than that. No problem with the speaker spider, doesn't seem to be as accurate as a speaker spider. Yeah, I feel like the speaker spider does do high damage, but the only problem is it's not entirely accurate and won't stay still. Anyway, the next troop you can summon is the Supreme Cameraman. Now, I think the Supreme Cameraman is pretty good. Pretty good for distracting, pretty good for taking attacks, and pretty good for some damage overall. The problem is, I wish it did more damage, and it can only really shoot those orbs and stop. Problem is, it costs 65 cash, which is pretty expensive. Let's try like 2 Supreme toilets. Don't chase me. Looks like the super camera. Looks like the Supreme Cameraman can do a decent amount of damage. Not really the best, but it does have a lot of and can distract large turrets pretty good in jump, so great. I just sneak behind them. But maybe the spoon can take care of it himself. Come on, bud. I need your help. There we go. So, I think the Spring Cameraman overall, I think it's pretty good in just mainly distracting and help us with those few last waves that have too much skibidi toilets, but yeah, my problem is it is the most expensive one out of all the summons you can get. Now the next one is TV Man. So the TV Man costs like 16 cash, which in my opinion, it's probably the most useful out of all, because they mainly just stun any toilet who's not wearing sunglasses. So try that. Like 3 of them. How about we get a bunch of little skibidis. They already can't even move. Goes a large cameraman trying to take care of them. And the good thing about TV troops is they can just stun forever, so they'll just stand there and you just kill them all. Let's try it against the giant troop. 2 of them. They need to get a little closer. Yep. See, all the giant troops are just stuck. Just gun him down from right there. It's pretty useful in overall all the modes, even nightmare mode sometimes. Now in my opinion, probably the most useful troops on here is probably the TV Man and the spider camera, because they both do a lot of high amount of damage. Well, I'd also like to say this pink cameraman, but the only problem is, even though it's very tanky, it can't really do much damage as consistent as these. All the TV Man is do damage, but mainly just stuns. But Spring Cameraman, I think it's probably not the best to go with if you're trying to just get damage out. I'd say summon a bunch of spider cameras instead, because they are pretty accurate and they shoot a lot of bullets. So yeah. Well, thanks, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And there will be another major update apparently for this game in 3 days, so I'll definitely check that out. And I'll make a video on it, so I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Bye-bye.